talk about medical oxygen these days, we have been hearing about the shortage, the crisis of medical oxygen. The most important thing is this oxygen that is being transported from one region to another is in liquid form. Now, there have been rising questions about why this oxygen is kept in the liquid form, and this is something that we would address today. Now, first of all, let's talk about liquid oxygen and its use. So, the first idea of liquid oxygen was used for the rocket fuel. Now, oxygen, as we know, has a very good oxidizing property. So when it comes in contact with metals, it forms oxides very quickly. In order to store oxygen, we need to have material or the metals that are non-reactive with oxygen. Now, liquid oxygen, why is it so unique? First of all, this is kept in the liquid form, so it is extremely cold. In the process of air separation units that we have understood in the last lecture, we would be talking about that today again. The idea is we separate the various gases, and when oxygen is separated, it is converted into the liquid form, and this liquid form is extremely cold. It is pale blue in color and is cryogenic. So since it is cryogenic, its boiling point is very low. Its boiling point is minus 183 degrees Celsius. Also note that most of the cryogenic liquids that are used have a boiling point of around minus 90 degrees Celsius. This liquid oxygen, if comes in contact with material like coal or black carbon, it would quickly inflame and can lead to fire, ignition, and therefore is highly hazardous. So it's a very well known behavior, specifically when it comes to asphalt or any of the petrochemicals, that this liquid oxygen can react very quickly. Now, a commonly asked question that I have seen from our esteemed subscribers is why oxygen is stored as in liquid form. Now, there are two basic advantages. Firstly, it gets less bulky and it is more easier to transport. The cost of keeping it liquid also is less. So when it has to be used with medical purpose or it has to be used as a part of medical administration, this liquid oxygen needs to be converted with the gas to the ambient temperatures, and then only it could be administered to the patient. So how this happens is again important. Now, a patient has a capability to inhale the atmospheric oxygen, that is 21% oxygen in the atmosphere, and therefore the liquid oxygen, which is 99.95 or 99.7% pure, we would say, has to be converted into the gas, brought to an ambient temperature, because the liquid is very cold. It has to be brought to a room temperature, and finally then only it could be administered. Now, since it is very cold, we call it cryogenic tankers, and movement or transportation of this cryogenic liquid is important because simple tankers cannot be used. You need to have, first of all, cryogenic tankers. Secondly, made up of materials which are non-reactive, because as we said, oxygen is a very good oxidizing agent and has a tendency to react quickly and form oxides, and therefore make the metal in which it is stored very much brittle. So it is very important to transport it in the liquid form, considering the transport cost and also the volume that can be taken from one region to another. Now, when air is manufactured, there are two processes involved. One is to transport it in liquid form. As we said, it is cheaper, it is easier, and it is less bulky. So cryogenic form is obtained through air separation units, which we have already talked in our class on medical oxygen versus industrial oxygen. Here, what happens is the atmospheric air is taken and it is flowed through the compressor. Now, when the air is compressed, So you have first of all the atmospheric air which goes into the compressor system. Here the air gets compressed. When it's compressed, carbon dioxide, impurities, moisture, hydrocarbons are all removed from this, and then this gas, the compressed gas, passes through heat exchangers. When it passes through heat exchangers, there is kind of cooling it down to a cryogenic temperature. Now once it is cooled to cryogenic temperature, it starts to separate out in liquid form. So distillation process now starts to occur. With this distillation process, we would have first of all nitrogen which would be separated in the top layers and oxygen which would be separated in the bottom layers. Now nitrogen which goes onto the top layers is moved separately, and this oxygen which is usually in the bottom layers is separated differently, and it has more than 90% oxygen content which is seen in the liquid oxygen. Now this oxygen could be used for industrial use or medical use. Based on the further refinements, the removal of the impurities, the uses are taken into account. Also, how this liquid oxygen is handled is a big challenge. We have been facing shortage of medical oxygen, and handling this oxygen becomes a very big question. So what is done? There are three options. One is DEVAR, which is the vacuum insulated flask. The next is cryogenic liquid cylinder and cryogenic storage tanks. Now how do these differ and what are they? So DEVAR is simply a vacuum insulated flask. It usually has around 1 liter. The small ones, the bigger ones have a capacity of around 5 to 200 liters. And here the containers are non-pressurized. So there is a loose fitting cap on the top, and the idea is there should not be atmospheric moisture that should react or plug the opening of this flask, and therefore it allows the gas which is produced from the vaporized liquid to actually escape. The next one of the things that we missed in the manufacturing was the other way of manufacturing which keeps the oxygen in gaseous form, and that is through the selective adsorption process. Now when we are talking about handling, we are focusing only on liquid oxygen, and since it is liquid oxygen, this is the oxygen which is obtained through air separation units, not the selective absorption process. Selective absorption process, you would have only gaseous form which would be seen. The next is the cryogenic liquid cylinders. Now these cylinders are similar to your LPG cylinders if you visualize from outside, but they definitely are much bigger. They have a atmospheric pressure of 24 atmosphere, and then the capacity is around 80 liters to 450 liters for each cryogenic liquid cylinder. It is insulated, vacuum jacketed. So as you can see in this image, the outer layer is the outer wall, and then you have the inner layer, and between that you have an insulation. On the top there is a handling link and the level gauge which indicates how much oxygen is present. This is the front view. If we have a top view, we would understand that we have a pressure gauge and a vent valve to understand the level of the pressure and the capacity. So we have a pressure building regulator and a pressure building valve which is attached to it. Now this is about the cryogenic liquid cylinder. The next is the cryogenic storage tanks. Now it is believed that these tanks are around 500 to 40,000 gallons. However, if we talk in terms of liters, it is somewhere ranging from 1500 liters to 15 lakh liters. So that is the capacity for cryogenic storage tanks. They can be spherical or cylindrical in shape, and they are mounted onto a fixed stationary location from where either the rail cars or the trucks come and take the liquid oxygen is filled in them. So that is how this liquid oxygen is obtained. Now as we said, to make the oxygen liquid requires the process of air separation units, where heat exchange is actually done after the compression of the air separates the liquids, separates the gases into liquid form. So nitrogen as liquid nitrogen, oxygen as liquid oxygen, and this oxygen which has very high purity is used with both industrial and medical purposes. In India, we say that 70% of the oxygen supplied for medical purposes is in the form of liquid oxygen. Only 30% of the total oxygen supplied for medical purpose is in the form of gaseous oxygen. So definitely liquid oxygen, much easier to supply, less costly, less bulky, is a preferred choice for most of the cases we can see. And therefore how this liquid oxygen is created, how it is stored, and how it is transported becomes an important question, and why actually it is kept liquid. In the following class we would understand oxygen's use besides the medical sector. Medical sector is one of the major sectors that we have been hearing about acute shortage, but yes, we do have use of oxygen in other sectors and industries as well. What and how, which we would understand in the next lectures. So stay tuned. Have a wonderful day.